What's in the box? Yeah, I wasn't joking. I like to. Yeah. This has not been planned. Ah. Where do I need to put stuff? Oh, is there anything else in here? Nope. Okay. Let's be really careful with our organization, because there's not much room to organize. Maybe flip this over. Over has been flipped. We got a bag of goodies. That has not been zip tied, and they're just like twisty tie. Did we save these? I like to save these. These are like my prototype zip ties. Everybody loves these things. You can always put them on something to be like, hey, is that going to work with the zip tie? I'm like, all right, that'll work. Then you go, make it professional with I'll hold on to that. What do we have in our bag? Okay, let's be careful and keep this stuff organized. I'm just kidding, I don't do that. Okay. So we got a whatever this is. Is that going to focus? That's probably going to be critical. Oh, we have two of them. That? Good. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. Let me get all of our little screws and our standoffs. And we got... That's going to be the back. And... Come on, does it click? Yes! Power button. Instructions. Oh, these are good the instructions don't even acknowledge. Like this is just some stuff we had left over. Oh, that's right, this camera's flipped. Yeah, there's not much to that, right? It's fixing parts. ATX, install the copper cylinders on the bottom plate according to the screw holes and the bronze nuts. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, these guys are not addressed anywhere. Alright. Well, maybe we'll find a use for them. Maybe we will. Oh, I didn't bring scissors. Oh, I got the razor blade, though. Yes, let's start this stream by, like, cutting myself. Accidentally. Oh, I got little metal pieces right here. What am I thinking about? Hail Santa. It's a lot of little screws, man. Okay, we're gonna have to make predictions. That's like casting bones, isn't it? Plenty of standoffs, plenty of screws. Right. We'll just get our screws lined up, get them chopped up real good, do a line. Alright. So I guess everything's gonna be... Wait. Do we have multiple? Okay, we got screw types, right? Well, itsy bitsy guys. And what you would consider, you know, the standard. I'm tempted to go, like, get my case of, like, real screws. Inner standoffs. Because it's going to work better. No, it's not going to work better. It's more informative if we only use the parts included. Or accurate. Amazon was kind of cute. Amazon, because we get like the Amazon partner, whatever thing, so I get these emails, and I'm like, oh man, make videos featuring Amazon products and get $25 a video. So there you go. All the videos that you're going to be watching on Amazon have $25 worth of effort put into them. Like, I wouldn't even set this. I wouldn't even cut the studio on for $25, man. I'm not trying to be anything but realistic about that. Alright, so we're immediately out of space. Like that? Oh, no, this is going to definitely be the bottom part. Wait. No? Like this. Okay. Right? But how's that going to jive with, Okay, what did I do with the instructions? You don't need instructions for 2 pieces of metal? Wanna bet? Okay, so I got the much right. Ah, so we face it this way? Allegedly? Is that what you're showing me last time? That doesn't seem right. Or do we slide it in like this? Is that the trick? Do we got like, little screws to... I'm gonna break something. Okay, we're only gonna use like minimum... Yeah, I do, right? So that's what's bugging me. There. I guess. Let's have a look at how this lines up. Gotta drop stuff. Does this, like, just... No? The plot thickens. I promise you, I can feed myself sometimes. This would be really helpful if these weren't just like blobs of dark, right? If I could tell which way this was facing, because it's got these indents in it, right? Like, logically, you're thinking it would kind of snap together like, man, if I only had a website with a picture of it, right? Oh man, I bet that would... Okay, this isn't the exact one, but... Alright, so it looks like it scooches... That is difficult to... And again, that's not the exact one. No, I almost lost this thing I don't know what to do with. Yeah, right? Here's what I gotta do, though. Here's what I gotta do. So we gotta chill out for just like 1 second. I got to open my Amazon page up and see if I know how to log in to our, this is gonna be like a multi-part thing. To get to the one that I ordered. Let's have a look. My orders. There we go. Oh, let's do a copy pasta. And okay. So now let's have a look. Back into the browser. This is the exact one we have. Are we not gonna get... How... Okay, this is not something that I necessarily would consider, right? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Why would I need a picture of this thing assembled? It's 4 parts. Huh. Yeah, figure it out, right? I mean, what's there to figure out, guys? It's only 4 parts. Man. I should have just like bought one of these. I don't know. We're gonna get this together. This is the main reason I bought it. I'm like, okay, what is this thing? Hey. Assembly was a breeze. Pay attention to the hardware. There were 3 types of screws. 2 types, no big deal. Nothing due to threads. Plenty of hardware. Do you have good pack? Yes. No, come back. Right click. Open image in new tab. Aha! That's all it took to get this. We just had to go to Amazon customer reviews. We did it. Problem solved. We should probably read the rest of that review. Okay, so overhead cam time. I'm jealous. He had better looking instructions than I did. So my original, wait, what the absolute hell? That's not right. Okay. That part's, let me get this up here where you guys can see. Do I just... Okay, that's what it's showing. Back like this. So do we have any holes back here? Okay, we got holes back here, kids. It's gonna be like this, which is... So it's got the sharp, stabby, cutty parts on the outside. That's the sonic quality. Okay, now we gotta go back to this guy's review. We're curious about the screws. Hex driver, install the standoff. The instructions outline, no big deal. Nothing due to the threads varying. I expect more than secure place to gear. What did you see? Tell me about the screws, man. Oh, I guess that's supposed to be like a screwdriver. Oh, I get it. I understand what this is for now. Okay, I'll be back in a minute with that latest update. Still don't know what these are for? Okay. Yay, okay. We're on team. We don't know what the semi-transparent things are for. But we've figured out what the mystery thing is. Overhead cam. No. This weird little thing. Which has got a Phillips on this end. This. what's on here? Alright. So you can screw in standoffs. That's kind of neat, I guess. Now we gotta, yeah, I've never used that. It's use pliers, right? Or like a bit from one of my little ratchet, you know, like one of those little miniature ratchet things. I'm guessing these are going to be screw cases. This isn't tedious. I'm sure somebody out there is like, man, this is awesome. I love sorting screws. then they go finish burying the body in their backyard. Yeah, right. Okay. Something that I've started using is Teflon standoffs. Can we speed this up? I haven't had a chance to check the news. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say news. I haven't had a chance to tune into the latest episode of the Linus Tech Tips soap opera thing. Anything new developments this morning? Has the internet found a new thing to be angry about today? Whoop. There's that. These guys are good. And there we go. Okay, so there are 3 types of screws, as we've identified from the review, and also by... So we got different threads. There's... I doubt you guys are going to be able to tell the difference. But he said it was going to be pretty easy to figure out, so we should be able to get it sorted in, I don't know, 45 minutes. Because we got like these big chonkers, big chonky threads. But not very many of them. 3. There's another big chonky thread. So we got 4 for the big chonky threads. And do we happen to have like 1, 2, 3? So we got 5 of these, so that doesn't make any sense, does it? We got 5 of them. Well, let's just do some experimentation, because I don't really care long as it goes in, right? Right? Yeah, right, that's not going to strip anything. And maybe these are for like, ooh, boy, I don't know what those are for. Is that going to bug me? Not really. So, let's get this lined up. Come on, get lined up. Oh no. Let's get that one pilot screw of hope, the one that you put all of your hopes and dreams on. You're like, oh, if I just get this in, the rest of the thing's fine. It'll hold together. It's our universal stabilizing screw. And I have to be mindful of the camera. Okay. That's 2, so I don't have to hold it. Get in there. And I love how everything is like emo and goth as far as the hardware, so I'm sure this shows up great on camera. Is emo even a thing anymore? I assume goth just is omnipresent throughout time. You're always going to have little goth kids. I say this as a former little goth kid. Well, I was never really little, but you get the idea. Emos are old now. Well, you know, like even 20 years ago, the goth kids didn't like the emos, right? And there was always, you know, albeit tense, but manageable peace between the goths and the metalheads. Like they would get along if the instance necessitated it. Okay. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Yeah. I mean, you would get some interesting, you know, you always had the skater kids too. Isn't that right, Fartbox Muffler that just drove by? We need stabilizing. Those are just going to be like, right on. Let me see if I can give you a shot of without dropping stuff. You get the idea. Yeah, just like that. I'm going to get some tape and tape it on like that. That's a lot of extra screws, man. They don't have much faith in this angle here. Hopefully these are going to fit. Yeah. Okay, that one's doing the thing where it's like not cross-threaded, but it's holding on by a cross-thread and a prayer. You know that screw. You've screwed that screw in before. Like if I just get a screwdriver to it and turn it back just a little bit, we got it. Ah, man, you know none of this stuff's going to be aligned, right? We're going to have to get medieval immediately on this thing. I mean, let's be honest. Were we expecting really high engine tolerances on this? Not really. Not particularly. This was going to be one of those, like, you know, screw it into shape type deals from the get-go. Good luck ever getting that back out. So the challenge to this is keeping everything on the mat because, you know, a block of metal on a glass desk. Also, it limits how much force I'm willing to put in a downward direction. Significantly. Wow, come back here. That was going to be our first drop. I just missed it. I kind of want to loosen these other screws up to see if I can get that one a little bit better, but I don't have the other ones in that tight, so I'm going to back off. I know I'm off camera, but I'm going to back these screws off a little bit. Give me some wiggle room. Now that I have some wiggle room, it shouldn't be as much of a nightmare. Except for this one, because there's nothing to be said about it, other than it just doesn't want to go in. But about that far. Dude, okay, so I'm like legitimately like forcing these through the back of the metal with just like torque. The holes are not drilled out. I can see shavings on the other side, so that's why it's taking a little bit of extra force. Okay. Understood. You know what? That screw falls in the category of good enough. So that's not too bad, though. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4 screw holes, only one wasn't drilled through all the way. Could be worse. This one's a bit snug, but it'll fit. It'll go flush. And I got to do this off the edge here because I don't have any mechanical leverage. What's making that noise other than all the screws I'm rubbing? That's probably what it is. So now, I mean, that's pretty sturdy. Again, we're talking like $20 here, right? Not expecting much. Bonk. Hey, that's the first time I hit the microphone with my head this time. Yeah. That's kind of the thing. After a little bit of research, even the expensive test benches, air quotes, are cheap test benches from AliExpress just being resold. Like even like the nicer looking one, like all the adjustable stuff, read the reviews on that, like the tolerances on it. It's like, these things are horrible. They look better though. But what do you need for a test bench? You need a total motherboard, power supply. And a video card in this case. Which I have on the floor behind me. It's like, man, that's a lot of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's everything you need to build a computer for. And I'm like, yeah, all right, so okay, fine. And you know, this happens over time. You're like, oh, I need to build a computer. Let me go walk around the house and scrounge. Well, I got it organized, but you get the idea, right? Same principle. I'm like, yeah, sure, let me just go get the parts to build a spare computer. If you've been playing the home game long enough, you got enough lying around the house of like, yeah, I can build another computer. Not like the greatest or anything, but you know, you're going to have a spare motherboard, spare CPU, spare power supply. In my case, I did not have any DDR4, so I ordered a single stick of DDR4, but like RAM's wicked cheap right now, so it didn't matter. Okay. There we go. I think now we got to do the motherboard standoff alignment game. As all PCs eventually will. The older you get, the more Debian looks like a cool operating system. Trust me. Trust me. It might sound weird, but I was where you were at like 20 years ago. I'm like, I've been through it, man. But I mean, there's layers to Debian, though. That's the whole misconception of, you know, Debian's not one distribution. Debian's 3 very distinct distributions. Debian Stable, Debian Testing. You know, Stable's like just locked. It gets updated every 3 to 4 years. 2 to 3 years, really. Then you get Debian Testing, which is like your standard stable, up-to-date rolling distribution. Then you got Debian Unstable. If you want to live that Arch life, if you want, like, you know, check that out on DistroWatch, like, look at Debian Unstable compared to, like, Bleeding Edge Arch. Sometimes Debian Unstable's ahead of Arch. So, but, you know, if you want something like that, just run Arch. Arch is good. Arch has got great documentation. Like, in a very perverse way, Debian skills are transferable because Ubuntu has worked its way into the server market because they got support. You know, it's like why I'd say always run Fedora. Because those skills are transferable. I mean, Linux is Linux, but like knowing the oddball stuff inside of an operating system or distribution, I guess, is very, very helpful. Yeah, somebody, I think there's like an AUR project for Debian or something. I was following, I think I'm still following it. So what do we need now? Oh, boy. Who remembers this? You got one of these. Check under your bed. I promise you do. This is the OG one. This is classic. This is the original Hyper 212 with the, look at that. Fan still works too. So we're going to be popping this bad boy on. And I have the adapter for, I'd forgotten. I'm like, what is this? Why is this tape? And I'd just taken some painter's tape and like put the adapter on it. Yeah, if you're a certain age, like this came out, this kind of changed the game for cooling. Like this was heat pipes, tower cooler. Then all of a sudden, like overclocking was cool again, you know, because you didn't need anything crazy. So let's get the motherboard out. All right. That's dusty. Yeah. Oh well, we're just getting the motherboard out. I'm not dusting a box. Sorry. Jackbox motherboard. The OG one. All MSI in here, baby. Why? Because I haven't had one fail on me yet. And when it does, I'm going to be all something else, man. I'm due. Threadbooper's MSI. The only non-MSI motherboard I think I'm going to buy in recent memory is when I get that Super Micro motherboard for the Threadbare. But for like I don't have anything special for MSI. It's just I know the UEFI system. You know, I know their BIOS. I know how to get around it, and it's the same for everything. So what do you do when you get done with a motherboard? The first time you do it, you save everything. You keep the box and all the packaging. That way, when you're done with the motherboard, you can just put it all right back in. And I have bonus parts. SATA cables that I've never used. And you save the backplate, kids. You know what? Probably not going to need that, so let's put it back in the box so when we end up needing it, I have to do some extra work. There we go. All right. Now we play standoff alignment game. How much room do I have? Uh-huh. Come on, get in there. All right, backplate fits. Nice. Oh, look at that, so edgy. Black and red. We're gonna be doing all this. And this thing's gonna get used maybe once or twice a year. Why? What do you see on here that my hipster ass is a fan of? Not one, but two. PCI. Not PCI Express. PCIs. Is that dust? Of course it's dust. I mean... Okay. ASMR paper, you go over there. Now we gotta figure out where we need to put these standoffs. One and two go there. Right. Right. Maybe not. Okay. You're in here. You know what? Putting in that backplate was way smoother than I was expecting. I expected to like, well, that's not ever going to fit correctly, but here we are. It didn't. I'm worried about the machining on the tolerances on these standoffs after putting those screws in. Man, this is gonna be gnarly, probably. So did I get those in the right spot? Or are we like just one off? No, those are in the right spot. Alright. So we got those two, then we gotta do these two. Yeah, I haven't pushed it all the way into it. These standoffs are gonna be a monster to get in. Okay. So we got like a bonus standoff here. Come on, Mr. Backplate. We might lose the backplate for a minute. So I can get these standoffs aligned. I need one here, here, har, and har. And that one's going to be har. So have they like standardized standoff positions to any extent? Because back in the day, man, they were anywhere and everywhere. There was very little rhyme or reason to them. Okay, that's 2, 2, 2. And wait a minute. 2, 2. I gotta drop this guy back down one. Now, full admission. I'll freely admit this, when I think I was still a teenager, I sparked a motherboard because I had a standoff in the wrong spot. Didn't notice it. Screwed everything down. Pow. I was mad. So I guess we're gonna try this thing. Is this metal? Hang on. Oh, this is metal. How do you determine metal? There's a 2-step process. One, you put your tongue to it. You know, because I probably just contracted something. And if you can't tell by the temperature difference between your, sometimes you tell with your finger. Tongue, then tap it on your teeth. That's 3 stages of determining. You know what? This works a lot better than I was expecting it to. Alright. Comes off pretty good. Fuck. I'm gonna lose this. Right? This works very well. It's a shame I'm going to lose this, probably before the stream's over. Okay, 3 more. All right. Let's test the alignment before we I mean, yeah. Are we missing anybody? That's got a hole. That looks good. So, what are our thoughts on these back tabs? You know what I'm talking about? Like these little guys. What do you do? I leave them. Sometimes I bend them back. I understand why they're there to like give you a little bit of pressure. These things always seem like they're more trouble than they're worth. Right? Let me see. Yeah. Is correct. Okay, this thing went in like instantly the first time, so you know. There we go. All right. There we go. Everything is together. Got a drink. Now the fun part. Now the fun part. That was too easy. I don't trust this. I'm in an immediate state of distrust due to that. That just went right in. We had a spare standoff. Spandoff, yes, a spare spandoff. That's not very smooth going in. Let's see how these things are machined. Maybe it's for these guys, which would be silly, but no, it's not for these guys at all. Man, those standoffs are not machined very well. That's why it was so easy. Yeah, I don't trust that one bit, man. Not even a little bit. Let's make sure there's not like a... Yeah, that thing went in so tight it's holding into the It spun the standoff. Yeah, no. I feel... Okay, so what we're going to go do is I'm going to go get my bag of, not bag, but my box of actual parts. Yeah, and some pliers. and we got to get that off. And we're going to upgrade this a little bit, so I'll be right back, everybody. Always keep these around. A box of toys and pliers. Wow, this isn't going to be fun at all. We've saved the patient. Okay. Slight quality difference between some good standoffs and whatever. Where's our little tool? We'll look at it this way. We've drilled the pilot holes for the standoffs. How about that? Kind of see a little bit of quality difference between these two. Just a bit. Got some Noctua stuff in here as well. So let's see. Let's grab these guys. Nice and flush. Let me check something. Will these old screws work in these guys? You know what? Let's take that route. Properly machined screws will go into the so instead of replacing all these standoffs, let's just use better screws. How about that? Come on. We can figure this out. I'm going to save that. I'm glad I brought that little thing in here now. Okay, so we're going to use good screws instead of these horrible little things that they've included. And we'd already removed one standoff, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Let's get that back on there. The one we had to extract with pliers. Yeah, these are pliers, needle nose pliers, right? I was like, are these real pliers? Always have needle nose pliers. I got better ones than that. Well, they're more needly nosed than that, but I'm not gonna mar them for this guy. Okay, you get back on there. I need some magnetic screwdrivers. Because, well, some of my screwdrivers are magnetic at this point. It's like all of my screwdrivers have aspirations of magnetism. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're a little bit magnetic. I fix it. Well, I have real tools. I just getting all that junk in here, like out on my workbench. Nothing against the iFixit kit. Like if you're doing like home repairs and stuff like that, you're good. I don't want to crank these down, but I just did. Let's just go back, and it's always a good rule of thumb when you're doing like motherboards, and I did the same thing when I was putting this on. Like, if you're doing anything mechanical that's going to be moving back and forth, don't crank things down until you get them all in. Give yourself some wiggle room to get everything aligned, so you're not putting all the pressure on like this last standoff to get everything stretched back out because you've already crunk everything down. That can damage stuff. This is a lesson you learn installing rack equipment for servers or for audio. Do not tighten all 4 bolts, especially if you don't have a sled. Snug-a-doo, then we just go back and retorque it. And then, 5 or 6 years later, when you're replacing on the motherboard, you're like, ding, 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 one screw just falls out. You're like, well, I forgot to tighten that one, didn't I? And I remember when we were building, this is back in the 90s. We were building PCs just out of scrap parts, man. Like, I've put motherboards into cases with like 3 standoffs before. You had to pray a little bit when you were putting your card in because the board would bow because I didn't have enough standoffs. It worked, got the job done. Back in my day. Alright, now we can torque everything down a little bit. Nothing crazy. Just snug. These should be good. Groovy. Ooh. Yeah, the NVMe one can be tricky, can it? Because, like, the NVMe, this little guy here, it's a screw and a screw. As I learned the first time I ever encountered an NVMe. And I'm telling you right now, if you had a $NVMe-screw-club.com, you'd make plenty of money. That is the most common thing I see asked for in reviews. Because why? Why? People lose that little microscopic bastard. Speaking of NVMe, so let's go ahead and pop that in. NVMe drive, where are you at? I summon you. I don't know where it's at. Hang on. I have one of those weird feelings that I'd moved it to put it somewhere for safety, which is a dumb idea because it was just kind of floating around. Let me go check. I might have put it on the like in the breakfast nook. Let me go take a look. I need to get up anyway, get some drink. So everybody take a few minutes. I'll probably be back in like 2 or 3 minutes. Stretch your legs, and we're gonna come back and button this guy up. Okay. I just had it. There it is. Nothing but the best latest and greatest technology. Welcome to the Linux Themecast Studio Standard for like $14 NVMEs. This is the Helix. These things are cheap and they work. I don't have any complaints from them. All right. Now, if you're curious, it will work like that. I don't like this part. You know, on a test bench, this isn't bad. But like trying to... Oh, now you want... This thing is not magnetic, by the way. This is what I'm talking about. Aspirations of magnetism. There we go. We got drives. We need CPUs. Oh. We are going to install a not Ryzen 5. No. This is not a Ryzen 5 5600G. You are correct. This is the original Ryzen 1700. We're rebuilding, kind of rebuilding Jackbox. OG Jackbox. Do we want to clean that? You know, let me go grab some clean stuff. That one it could use a little bit of a bath. It's been around. This is the one with a bug in it, but I've never had a problem. Let me go grab some paper towel and a rubbing alcohol. And we're going to give it a rub down. Clean it up. It's delicious. You know, out of curiosity, I looked that up one time. Like, could you drink a bottle of rubbing alcohol and survive? You're like, yeah, you'd probably survive, but you would hate it. Like, you would rather you didn't survive. Good enough for government work. We're just gonna let that dry for a second. Couple little dusty spots. Oh, here's what we need to look up because we only have a stick of RAM. You know what we're gonna do? We're waiting on that just to dry. We're gonna put all the misfit screws into the misfit screw area. I might even put these plastic things in there. That's what I'm gonna do. That's one of the things that's always, you know, I've absolutely brewed my own beer, and I've always been curious about distilling. And that's the one thing that scares me, man, is like, once the distilling begins, like the first 2 or 3 pulls off of it, you have to discard. And I'm like, where's the, I want exact measurements on that, right? If that's something I want to like operate by feel. Okay, socket AM4, the juggernaut, the long-lived. Like, no joke, the 5600, my first 5600G was in this motherboard because you could update the BIOS, and after much protesting, they're like, fine, we'll update the BIOS. You know, it went from can't be done, completely impossible from the motherboard manufacturers, of course, because they'd much rather sell you a new motherboard. to yeah, okay, here's an update for your motherboard. So how do you install this? You know, it's a CPU. Focus. We can focus? We can focus? Are you thinking about it? Hey, this little thing. There's a little notch there, and there's a little notch there. So what do? You just flip it around a couple times until it falls into place. That's how you do it. Flip it. Boom. There it goes right into place. If it doesn't, turn it. Doesn't fall into place, turn it. Now, this is what's known as a ZIF socket, zero enforcement socket, because back in my day, you had to apply pressure to get the CPU in. You had to click it in. Think about that nightmare. So we're just going to click that back in place. The only time I've ever, like in recent memory, been nervous, like a little bit, putting a CPU together was when I was putting together a thread booper, because it's got a zillion pins on it, and even with a guide, you're like, and it's got all the pins on the motherboard too. So now we got to do a bit of research though, before we do anything else, because we got to get the memory RAM in. What is the preferred slot for a single DIMM? I'm not going to pretend I know that off the top of my head. Let's go and look that up, shall we? Let's go to our browser. And let's do a little bit of research. Where's my keyboard? MSI B350 Tomahawk manual. Let's go have a look. Manual and documents. English. I gotta download it? Ooh. Alright. Fine. Okay. Huge heat sinks? Yeah, they can be a challenge. One DIMM. Oh, that doesn't help me a dim bit. DIMM A2. Are you fucking kidding? Are you labeled? Yeah, I see DIMM A2. What I want to see. Yep, DIMM 1. I'm looking for the silk screening on the board. While logically, yes, Arthurian, I've been wrong before. Bonk. Well, you guys didn't see that. So, yeah, DIMM A1A first, second. I see. Oh, there's no happening to this. This is double checking and confirming, man. Would not be the first time, it will not be the last time you run into some weird horse crap that you end up finding like, oh no, on this one. So what I was looking for, everybody. Oh, didn't know we could do that, did you? What's this little marking right here? So yes, to what Arthurian was saying, DIMM 1, DIMM 2. And we got first for 2 and 2 right there. So 2 in here. So let's our super high quality DDR4 3200 unregistered DIMM. That's probably childproof, so it's gonna take me a minute to figure out how to get into it. Yeah, 8 gigs sick. Up. Now, simple alignment procedure here. Now, you would think you couldn't force one of these in the wrong way. You would be wrong. I've done that before. So we want click, click. That's how you know you're good to go. Is best trackball. It works. It fits my hand. I mean, it's a little small. Well, I got big hands. It works way better than other... Like, me trying to use a regular size mouse is like comical. So I need heat sinks. And we're going to break out this bad boy. Where's my, give him a little rub off. You know, a little friendly back and forth. Like, this really matters. This is a 65 watt part, by the way. Like, you know, I could put a couple of pennies on top of this thing and it probably would only thermal throttle a little bit. There's still some room for cleaning on that. Right. Yeah, ports usually don't survive highly determined morons. All right. That's good. So up next is a pair of scissors. 1 second, I got those right over there. Hey, scissors. So what type of heat paste are we going to use? What type of processor lube? You know what type of processor lube I use, right? That's not a mystery. This is the adapter plate for the Hyper 212. The heatsink that will just continue to function on all CPUs, old, classic, or modern. There's traditional streamer blue painter's tape. We're going to use everybody's favorite thermal compound. You know exactly what I'm going to be using, kids. Come on. We don't use thermal paste. What are we, peasants? Primitives? In a production machine? You kidding me? Is it going to be enough to get into it? No, these things are hard to open too, man. Come on, did I cut it enough? Let me in. Yes. We're almost in. So what is this? This is an IC graphite thermal pad. And if you're going to be running a system, especially if you're going to be running a system often and hard, giggity, and for a long time, you know, the common complaint of like, well, it's like you're going to lose 2, maybe 3 degrees of thermal conductivity. And I was like, it's going to be like 3C higher. True, but that's going to normalize over time as your thermal paste dries, unless you're like one of those people, which I know one of those people. I don't get anything against you. I don't. So pitchforks down. But like to go home every weekend and reapply thermal paste. Like this is what I do, man. Like, I'll go home and repaste my GPU. And I'm like, okay. You put these things on once and you're done. Come out. There it is. And I got these running on current Jackbox. Rectangles using that, and Threadbooper. Unfortunately, they don't make one with enough square coverage or rectangular coverage for Threadripper, so I had to buy the thermal from Thermal Grizzly. They got one. I mean, it works. It's a little more delicate than these, though. I wish I could find these because these things are stout. Like I accidentally tore the Thermal Grizzly one by picking it up with tweezers. You do got to be careful with these because these are highly conductive, unlike thermal paste. You know, think of it as like, you know, stationary liquid metal that knows how to obey. You know, sit. And they're a little slippery. Like they don't have much in the way of friction, so it is going to be a little bit of a challenge getting everything aligned and make sure that's like in place. But we'll get there. Because this is pretty basic to get on. Yeah, I've been using these for a long time. This thing could use some cleaning, but I'll do it later. This is the original fan on it too, man. So how does this go in? It's been a minute. There we go, like that. Okay. Which way? I guess, no, that's just going to blow hot air against the GPU. So we'll do it like this. Alright, I got to get down and personal with this thing. Already having, you know what? This is like 100 times easier than it would normally be because of ToughBench, and I'm able to see it at that line. But I didn't get a very good alignment. I kind of booped it a little bit. And I tried to smoosh it back into place. Okay, let's get a take two on that. There we go. That wasn't so bad. And we're just gonna tighten these within reason. Not too much. Maybe about there. Always go back and retorque these after about a week. Anytime you got screws like this, anything it's going to be heating up, expanding, contracting. And this goes double for any furniture that you ever put together. Here's an old man life tip. Like IKEA furniture and stuff like that, you want that stuff to last for a little bit. After you assemble it the first time, a week later, go back and retighten everything, and maybe do that a couple of weeks after that. And if you haven't done that, go do that right now, and you're like, oh man, this stuff's loose, because it's going to be wobbling, and that's why that stuff falls apart. But on things like this, you know, anything that you're not like locking down with like Loctite or anything, or it's going to expand and contract. You know, you see this with like AIOs. Like right now, I'm coming back and like just from the torque I put on it. If you've only tightened your AIO, because AIOs typically have mounting systems very similar to these, go back and have your jaw drop a little bit when you go to turn it. You're like, whoa, okay. You can tighten that back up. Get better cooling. But where do we put this CPU fan? How about that? Done. Problem solved. Now comes the question of... Yeah, always check it out. Always go back and... I'm not going to say it's going to be like floppy loose. It might be perfect. But every time I crack the case and anything with these connectors on them, I'm like, always got a little room to snug them back in place. And it makes sense, you know, because that's getting hot. I mean, it's cooling off, getting hot, man. So now we need to put some graphics in this bad boy, because... And boy, do I have bonus graphic. I didn't realize how many GPUs I have laying around. I could probably do an entire wall behind me. Like replace all the stuff behind me with GPUs. But that would be a lot of work. So what are we going to go for GPUs? The latest and greatest. Let me see if I can get to it. From NVIDIA. The RTX 2060. Yeah. Oh boy. Where's my keyboard? Focus, because I accidentally hit the space button. It was on the browser. It's not going to hurt anything. Neat. I need to move that. Reorganizing on this desk. Let's slide that forward for a second. Come out. Hey. Founders Edition. It's the only Founders Edition I ever bought. Like ever. This is why Vin presents are good. I take care of stuff. Very well built, man. Like, just pretend you're going to sell everything that you have on eBay in 40 years for insane amounts of money. Yeah, I really like these designs. It's got plenty of coil line though, which is unfortunate. It's a whiny card unless you have it like locked to like 60 FPS, but it's something it developed later in life. It just keeps things dangerous and interesting. I have my 3060 CVGA, man. So where do you put this? Typically here, this is going to be your by 16 slot. This is going to be connected directly to your CPU. Your other by 16 slots, usually it's mechanically by 16, well, physically by 16, but it's a by 8 slot and it's going to run through your motherboard chipset. So you don't want to use that for your GPU. You use it for like an encoding GPU. Same way with these PCI 32-bit. They're on a bridge naturally because, you know, there's not PCI support in the chipset itself. So we want to go here. Let's pop this bad boy in. Come on. This is, all right, that's difficult to do on a workbench. I need to turn it this way so I can see. You gotta have that side angle to put in a, like...
I'm not cool enough to put one in just straight top down without looking.
There we go. There we go. We didn't get rid of our screw pack, did we? No. I put stuff up almost to a fault. Because I used to be a little bit cluttery way back when, like a long, long time ago, and I get in the habit of like, when I'm done with something, I immediately put it back up, and that will mess you up when you're trying to like work on stuff. I was like, oh, I need the thing. Oh, where? Oh man, now I gotta go back and get it again. Yeah. So, case screws. Dun, dun, dun. Come here. We need two. Do we want to go with our old blackout theme? We got black ones. Hello, Beatko. Hello, can you tell you? What am I going to be using on this PC? This PC is so I have these PCI slots available again. Because there's still plenty of really good, really useful PCI audio cards that work under Linux, or at least I assume they do, and I want to find out. Like a bunch of the Echo, Gina type stuff. I just want that option available. There we go. Now we're powered. Well, we're not powered up, but we got a stick memory RAM. We got a CPU. But now we need the power supply. Blast from the past. I'm about to pull out a vintage power supply, though. Yes, that is. That is my 2060. Which I was angry about because I ended up, when I bought this thing, what did I end up paying for it? Like, after tax and shipping, it was like $400. And I thought that was silly me. Silly me. Thought that was a ludicrous amount of money to pay for a video card at the time. Which it was. Now, admittedly, the 2060 was a really good card in its day. It was. Like bang for buck. You know, it was had less memory RAM. It had 6 gigs, but like performance-wise, like a 1070. I managed to get my 3060 for like $420. I just remember that for obvious reasons, right? Okay, power supply. Here's a name some of you might not have even heard of. OCZ. Huh? I didn't even know I still had this thing. Semi-modular. It's modular-ish. And we can only get 2 screws on it. I do remember reading that, so I'm going to have to turn this thing sideways. OCZ was a thing before they disappeared. Like, they were like the performance. Come on, let's keep on turning it so and see where these screw holes get. That's reasonable alignment. You guys won't be able to see this part, but so we need 2 more screws of what thread type? Or we're just going to continue using these guys, because I assume that's going to be threaded right for power supply, isn't it? Yeah. So this is one downside to this is there's only access to 2 screw holes.
On the power supply.
A little unfortunate, but then again, like it's not like you're going to be out and about with this, right? So, like not just make sure you're not doing any type of like downhill extreme test benching. You'll be all right. It's gonna be a bugger to get in though. There we go. There we go. Once it's threaded, it's all right. That one's just going to be mean to get in. We'll use the spin and pray method. You're familiar with that one, everybody, where you just kind of aim in the general direction and begin spinning the screw and hope it catches? Yes. Okay. Oh boy, that added a bit of weight to it. Oh. It's like a real boy now. That is a, that's got some weight on it now. Who would have thought adding heavy metal things to a thing would increase the, weight? Clips there, so that's not a problem. This is our, adapter. There's no way in hell it's going to... Oh, are you going to focus? Nope, you're just messing with me. You know what this is. ATX, man. We need to bring back AT. AT was awesome because AT was like split right down the middle, and if you plugged them in the wrong way, it would blow shit up. It was pretty dope.
I have no light, and I cannot see.
There we go. Click. Do not stop until you hear click. What else do we need? PCI. One cool thing about 2060, 1 6-pin. Done. And ew. These are dusty, man. This thing was in a case I was old case, like one of those razor blade cases that was ancient, and I'm like, oh, you got a power supply in you, huh? That's PCI Express. Let's get this guy. What does this get on it? A 4-pin? 4-pin. All right. That's gonna be a little monster to get to, isn't it? Bonus power. EPS, I guess you would call it. It's one of the Interesting things about Threadbooper are like any HEDT system, you gotta have a power supply with dual EPS on it. And that's like this. This I can get away with. Like, this is not needed. This is just to get one of the cables out of the way. But like on Threadripper or Epic, no, those got to be plugged in, or it's not going to start up. Click. Okay, I can immediately see a problem here with the fan. That's fine, right? Click, 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 click. Well, I know the easy way around this, right? You know the easy fix. Nope. I said the easy fix, kids. Click in. There we go. I think that's everything. Yeah, I gotta get some like zip ties and stuff to bundle the rest of this spaghetti nightmare up, because you know what? Let's see, what can I get rid of? You. And you. Floor. There we go. We'll just put stuff on the floor. I don't normally do that. But hey. And you. So that just leaves us with this guy, who we can do a little arts and crafts with probably and not worry about. Ta-da! Self-contained. We just grab it right here, we'll carry it by that. I mean, we could try to power it on. Speaking of that, now the button. Yep. Power button. Which takes all the fun out of it, man. I just wanted to like reach in it and like spark it like that, right? Okay, let's see. Yeah. I don't know if I can get you guys enough light to... So, if I was a power strip, I would be usually somewhere in here. I'm looking for some silk screening. USP, JP1. I'm feeling this guy, but it's not labeled, which is odd. Somebody's seeing some stuff I'm not. That's JP1. Power LED power switch. Oh, okay. JFP1, or is it JTP1? JFP1. JFP1 right here. So I need JTP1. No, JFP1. This is a guy right here. Yes, LTP equals parallel, so we want to plug it into the parallel port? Is that what you're saying, Lassie? I think this is our guy right here. Let's find out. Where is the button to go to? Doo-doo-doo. These are things you don't guess on. Even though you can be, I'm 100% sure. And I think it's JFP1. So let's, component JF. Are we seeing JFP1? JC, JFP1 front panel connectors. Okay, those are... Yeah, so it's this guy. It's the one in the upper right. That's right. Okay. That's cool. Cool story. Now give me the unlock codes so I don't have to guess at this shit. Audio connector, power connectors. Nope, that's not what I need. USB, Gen 1, give me the front panel connectors. Page 34. We're almost there. We're almost there. Here we go. Page 34. Alright. So, power LED power switch is going to be 6. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. So third. Is that even in frame? Nope. There he is. JFP1. There's a little guy. Oh, okay. We got our missing pin, so that's going to tell us that that's pin 10. And our power switch is going to be 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be number 3. Get in there. And you don't have to worry about putting a power switch in, like, plus or minus. It just makes a contactorino. Ugh, this thing's getting a bath, too. Go away, Advanced Studio Lighting. Alright. So you guys want to try to spark this thing up before we get out of here? Is it 6 and 8? Ah, it is, isn't it? Thanks. What would that have done? Nothing. Alright, 8. Yeah, we're good. Like I said, man, let's go back to the old days and just rub your screwdriver over until it starts up. I brought a power cord in here. We're not going to, like, It's already 3 o'clock, so we're not gonna have enough time to like install operating systems and stuff on it. That might be for another day, but I guess we can cut it on. See if it powers up at least. Right? See if it blinks some lights at us. Or explodes and like trips a breaker and knocks everything out in the studio. That'd be dope. That'd be fun. How much wiggle room do I got for this power cord? Not much. Let me see. Who can I run from? I guess I can run from the fan down here. Hang on. All right. Bonk. Whew. Let's see. Da da da. Okay, CPU light came on, came off, which is good. VGA is lighting up. Might need to clear the BIOS on this thing too. Ugh, where's that at? Let's pop the battery. Yeah, no smoke, right? Do I have anything to... Let's clear this BIOS. Yes, I'm clearing the BIOS using a razor blade. Deal with it. Get over it. Everybody's seated. This is going to be one of those things where I'm going to have to sit down and plug it in, but we'll give it another shot because I want to get a good shot of pressing the button. Yeah, it seems to be complaining about VGA. Maybe my 2060 died, who knows? But I don't know what's going on right now because I don't have a screen. That's like one of those things. This is not a good way of troubleshooting. If you're ever wondering, like, no, this is not how you do it. Fans are spinning. I might try giving this a reseat before we call it in. But like, far as test bench, yeah, that's serviceable. Let's see. What are we gonna do? We're gonna plug this into a different PCI Express port just in case. Maybe it won't get enough power. Let's give this guy a little receipt before we get out of here. Do you think it needs a connector? Like, well, I mean, it shouldn't. I say it shouldn't. I don't know. Dude, at least you can get like to this little thing in the back easy now. I'm down with that. I like that. Bonk. Whew, that camera's hot. Then again, this motherboard did take forever to start up, too. Might just let it sit for a second. Sometimes when you put, because I know when I had the Quadro in this thing, like it would just sit for like a minute, then it would just boot. It is for sure on VGA and not boot. Yeah, it's on VGA. We got CPU, DRAM, and boot. Boot's not lit up. VGA is. And we get our Theron playing the home game of keep talking and nobody builds a PC. Which is always fun. It's good reference material. I mean, this is easy enough to test, everybody. Give me 1 second. It's not like I don't have an entire drawer filled with video cards, like 4 steps away from me. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's go away from that to... Da-da-da. Let's use a Quattro. Let's make it loud. Ah, that requires a... Yeah, that's right. 6-pin. Yep. Oh, it is new and shiny. I take care of my stuff, man. And this is not the latest and greatest in Quadro technology. It's a Quadro 4000. It's a couple of years old. Also, it's going to be loud, everybody. Fair warning. Yeah, it's still doing the VGA thing. Oh, it did. Hey, it got past it though. Well, now it's back. I think it's trying. Oh, dude, this thing might have like an. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get into the BIOS on this thing. Can you guys hear that? Let me see if I can take the gate off here. It's pretty wild, isn't it? Yeah. I got the live from the server room. What I think it's doing right now is it's training. It's trying to figure out like what I need to do to boot. Again, this would infinitely be easier to suss out if I had it plugged in. Yeah, it looks like it's done. I think it's cycling again. Like, I'm willing to bet money that it's sitting there saying no OS found. It looks like it's done cycling. It probably would have done the same thing with the 2060 if I just left it alone long enough. We can try the 2060. Let's see, 330. We got a couple of minutes. All right, we'll play around with it. Why not? Why not? How bad are the electrical connectors? It's not. It doesn't matter. It's an on-off switch. Right. We gotta. I'm not a fan of these clips on the back of by 16s. Never have been. Never will be. There's our Quadro. No backplate, unfortunately. Oh boy, that thing's already smoking hot. Idle. That happens when your fin stacks like that, right? Jill, look on the bright side. At least you have a fighting chance of getting your hands down in there. Me, I'm like, what do? I take a screwdriver. I got a long screwdriver with some tape over the end because, you know, I'm careful like that-ish. And I stab at him until I get him to pop out. So we'll give the 2060 another shot. I'm sure the 2060 is going to end up working just fine in it. Yeah, the AGP had like that funky one that you had to pull out from the side, didn't it? It wasn't like a actual mechanical click. You just had to like pull it to one of the sides. Let's get this thing back on. See if we get any additional love. So just let it sit, see if it can figure itself out. Maybe not. It's just that I'm not joking when I say like this motherboard would take a minute to boot when it was had a video card plugged in. So I don't know. Like I know when we're done with the stream, I'm just going to plug this thing in, plug a monitor into it, and walk away from it and see if it starts up. At 65 watt? Nope. I don't even think this thing has a speaker on it. That is one thing I don't have. But nothing I'm terribly concerned about because this box is going to be run. Unfortunately, the only thing you have to have a video card in it to get this thing to boot, but I'm going to be running this thing over SSHX. It's not like I'm going to be having a monitor plugged into it anyway. That's really like the only thing I can think to try. We've already shorted that out, right? I don't know why it doesn't like the 2060. I think have I had the 2060? I don't know if I put the 2060 in it. I might not have ever tried to put the 2060 in it. I think I had the 750 or 770 in it at one point. Like I've had a bunch of like little dinky, video cards in this because I've never ran this system with a video card. But it's always had the I'm going to take forever to boot problem, which I've never questioned as long as I just boot it. This is one of those deals. And it goes right to VGA with the 2060. Maybe it is something dumb, like I need to have something plugged into me. Do I have a HDMI cable? You know what? I do have an HDMI cable. That would at least sort that question out. Let's get one screw in this thing. I don't have an HDMI cable I can show you guys, but I got an easy one to get to. Let me see. I have one of those 13-inch monitors on the desk that I really never use, but I bought it. So. Please power down and connect PCI power cables for this graphics card, so it's not getting enough power. Oh boy, I know what I did. I know what I did. I know I've been, Alright. I've been doing the dumb. Right? Let me see. Give me 1 second here. Oh, maybe I haven't been doing the dumb. Do I need the 6-pin? 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, alright. I had the wrong thing plugged in. Despite this saying PCIe, or do I need the 3? Hang on. Why would I not have enough power on this? That makes no sense. So that's 4 and 4, right? So would I use a 3-pin? That's not going to have the juice for it. That's going to be a peripheral. Yeah, so for some reason, it is not getting enough power to the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, like... Oh, is this thing an 8-pin? Okay, see... It's not a single 6-pin, it's a single 8-pin, kids. I didn't have the right damn thing plugged into it. Not enough pins, brah. Which, if I can get this thing lined up correctly to even attempt insertion. This thing's old. That is the right way, right? There we go. You figured. Are we doing the like? Yeah, I needed that. I didn't say anything about it, but yeah, that's what it was. I do that too. 1, 2, 3. So this should actually cause a fire. It'll be awesome. Oh, we got boots. You guys can see it. Oh shit, this thing's got Linux on it. Never mind. We are booting Linux 6.49 RT8. This is Jackbox. This thing just booted into Jackbox, everybody. All we gotta do now is install some super proprietary, ultra evil, big, bad, poo-poo proprietary drivers, and we gotta do it with a run file because this has a real-time kernel on it. So I gotta enter some special moon glyphs that NVIDIA doesn't want you to know about. Yeah, that's dope. That was a fun project. Reusing old hardware. See what he said? We got the memory RAM. We got an original Hyper 212. 2060. Not really a vintage piece of hardware just yet, but definitely on its way. Yeah, building a PC. This is... like, it's going to be like a weird planning thing because when we build a Threadbare, the fucking Epic System's probably going to take like, it's going to be an all-day event. It's not going to be a, let's sit down and do something. I don't know. I'm going to have to like get some support crew to come over and like work cameras and stuff because that's going to be a challenge. But what do we do with this? I know what we do with this. We do some loops. We do it like that. We try to keep it on top, so let's do that loop. I'm going to be using one of these PCI slots, so I don't want to go crazy with it. And let's just snooch that. There we go. Now we have a permanent installation for the power button. No, what I got to do for... I'm just saving money for... But what I'm waiting on right now is for somebody to return one of those motherboards so I can get one used. It's patience. This is how we get stuff. This is all part of the plan, man. It's the same way I got that AJA capture card. Patience. Yes, you wait it out. Eventually one will show up. It'd be a different story, like if it was something I like absolutely had to have right now, but you know, Threadbooper's still got some life left in it. Don't disparage it. It can still work. It still does an okay job. But when I get the Epic build, what I got to do is like one of the challenging things is I got to make sure I have the motherboard, the RAM, and the CPU all at the same time, because if anything needs to get returned, I got like, what, 60 days to return it with Amazon? But I'm going to be getting a used CPU. This is the beautiful thing about Epic. The CPUs are so cheap. For second gen. Threadbooper's going to stick around for a long time, man. That is a little 1920X is not the fastest thing in the world. But for what I do, very particular use case, man, just slinging pixels. Because I thought with like, you know, instruction IPC performance uplifts because what is a Threadbooper? Threadbooper is a Generation 1, Ryzen 1, so it's like one of these, the 1700, but a lesser version of it because it's only got 6 cores per chunk instead of 8. This is 8 core 16 thread. It's 2 of those like glued together, so it's first gen Ryzen. You would think between that, and I was like, okay, well, how fast is this compared to 5600G, which, you know, 6 core gen, whatever generation the 5600G is. You know, even though it's 6 cores, 12 threads versus 12 cores, 24 threads. I was like, I bet this thing's gonna just dance all over Threadbooper and compiling. I was building a kernel, and I just happened to run time on it. No. It's that quad channel memory and everything going straight to the CPU instead of that X300N chipset. It just danced all over the head of my 5600Gs. I'm like, okay. However, when it comes to playing games, 5600G dances all over the head of Threadbooper. Easily. Any day. All right. Cool, everybody. That's going to wrap us up. What is the appropriate shutdown command for Linux with a journal file system? That. It'll take it. It's not like the old days. I've lost systems due to power outages, improper shutdowns. That was a real problem. That really existed. That's not just like legend. Old people tell you to, you know, keep you up at night and cause you nightmares. Yeah, power would blink. That could hose your entire box. There was a fair chance that you were not going to be able to recover it if that happened. And it used to suck, but now we have journal file systems on Linux, which are really neat. We're talking like ext 2 days. All right, that's going to do it for this. Thanks, everybody who been watching. If you're one of our patrons, you're super special. I like you that little bit more. Where's my hand? There. See? That's like 11 inches. Stick around, though, because if you like the Baldur's Gate 3, Jordan, I think Jordan's recruiting people to do some multiplayer Baldur's Gate 3 on Linux this evening. And that's going to be down 7:30. Not really my style like game, but I like tuning in, especially if it's multiplayer. I think it's going to be him, Empty, possibly Joe. I don't know. They're going to get together, and it's good. It's going to be chaos as Jordan plays Dungeon Master. Should be interesting. And of course, tomorrow night, we'll be back with Trackmania. 7:30. Great game if you like puzzles, if you like physics platforming. But I thought, Finn, you just said Trackmania. It's a racing game. It's weird. You got to try it because that's what it is. It's puzzles and physics platforming at speed. It, especially when you're getting up in age, it's good to have challenges like that. That makes your hands and your finger digits work together into something resembling a symphony. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm always scared I'm going to wake up one day and like not know how to speak English. It's great. We'll be doing that 7:30. Instructions, everything you need if you're a Twitch sub, if you're a patron, is pinned in the Trackmania Zen channel and our Discord. Ask your questions there. All right, everybody. I am going to go take this and put it in a corner and probably not use it again for 4 months. So thanks for the support, Arthurian. Arthurian was running our documentation lookups. He was functioning as Capcom on this journey. It was a good time. And everybody hanging out, watching. So have a great rest of your Thursday. Bye-bye.